All right. Morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Just 1 second. I got to plug in my headphones. You guys hear me okay? It's audio and visual pretty good. AV is good. Awesome. I appreciate it. Very good. Well, let's get started, everybody. Thanks for being here. We have obviously a brand new trading week today. Obviously, a lot of news over the weekend, as you have probably seen, and we need to make some sense of it and kind of give you a bit of a heads up on what that means for the trade that we've been talking about now all year long. If you haven't heard about this yet, it's probably because you're new here, and I do want to welcome you all. If you're new, I'm Serge Berger from thesteadytrader.com. We're going to spend the next sort of 10 to 15 minutes or so going through some of the top things on the notepad here. And if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. It's like a little bell, I think, because we want you to be able to receive all our latest analysis and updates in real time. That allows you to do that in real time. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Also, if you can give us a thumbs up like on all the videos, including this one here, that would go a long way in helping us continue to grow the channel. So, where to start? I think on a morning like this morning, where we're looking at the futures market, and oil is up about, crude is up about 7.5% on the futures side. It's off the highs, I think, right now. It was up even a bit more. Natural gas, U.S. natural gas up 5%. European natural gas is up 50% or 40%. Because they stopped the production there for at least a while. Gold is up, silver is up a little bit. So we're seeing a lot of the trade that we've been talking about now for some time continue to play out. And I'd just like to start off here this morning with two thoughts. First of all, this is a chart that I've also posted it this morning on the YouTube comments. If you have never been to our YouTube post section, I would like to just draw your attention to that. When you go into the YouTube channel, which you're on it right now, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this, there's something called posts. And you can see this morning, give it a thumbs up like. I posted the same chart that I'm about to go through here with you guys right now. We've been posting this chart and talking about it to clients for weeks on end, and we're seeing a massive breakout, relatively speaking, but of energy stocks relative to the NASDAQ 100. It's serious. It's not going to be linear, right? There'll be ups and downs and setbacks, but it's happening, and I think it's critical to understand not only that it's happening, but maybe also why. Why is an important part here to understand why this is all taking place. If you look at this morning, and I'm going to quickly show you some pre-market activity here. If you look at something like ExxonMobil, the stock is up another 4% pre-market. So see if I can show you. This was last Friday's price action, by the way, ExxonMobil breaking out this morning. It's up another 4%. That whole trade, in fact, let me see if I can give you the pre-market activities. If you give me just 1 second, I should be able to show you pre-market movers here. If you give me 1 second. Where is this thing here? 1 second. Here. Okay. So if you look at some of the pre-market movers this morning, just to give you a bit of a further of an idea, obviously this is now with the oil rally because of the weekend, the bombing in Iran over the weekend. And you can see some of the things are up. I mean, pre-market, APA Corp, which Who's heard me talk about APA Corp over the past 6 months, right? Like almost every day. Occidental Petroleum up 7% pre-market. You know, these are all companies that we've been talking about, you know, to no end. And they're really moving higher. Now, again, this morning it's being accelerated because of the weekend military activities in the Middle East. So I'm not trying to take that as a victory lap, but the point is it's been structural in nature, and these moves here are just a continuation of that. You know, a lot of times we can cherry pick what the news was that ultimately made something happen, but the reality is that there was a lot of structural tailwinds in this way before, you know, this news now over the weekend. So that's important to understand. On the coin flip side, or the other side of that, it's critical to understand what's happening to financial stocks, right? And this is not something that a lot of people have noticed yet, but if you look at the financials, so you look at XLF, and if you're a Market Rover user, tomorrow is our member session, our weekly member session. We talk about major trend shifts, but you look at something like the financials, the XLF, you look at something like American Express, right? These are stocks that are turning major trends, right? American Express is down 18%. In fact, let me see if I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek here, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And these are the moves where people start missing, you know, what's happening, and it'll be way too late until they can adjust their portfolios. That's why it's important to be aware of this. Or even like something like Jefferies, which is a stock that continues to have problems because of some of the credit issues, you know. So this is something that you probably didn't get a call from your broker about. So for example, here, this is our trend following model using the Market Rover. And if you notice, Jefferies, let me make this a little bit more adjusted to the chart here. Give me just 1 second here. So you can see Jefferies was in a bullish trend, the green background color, but that trend changed at some point in mid-February. So, you know, like 3 weeks ago, something like that. Most people are still in the stock. The stock is now down about 18% since then, but the trend has changed. This is not just the momentum. This is not near term. This is the actual trend, like your multi-quarter kind of time frame. And most people aren't going to sit up and take notice of this. You know, the whole complex is rolling over. In fact, we have, if you are a PPIS member, we have a bear call credit spread on currently, in full disclosure, on JP Morgan. Not because I hate my alma mater, I love my alma mater, but because I just see the structural situation of what's going on. Here's what's going on in JP Morgan. It's an amazing company and probably a good stock, but I think it's running out of steam here with what the market's kind of giving us. So that's what's going on here this morning. Now, let me just quickly get to what Kristen's posting. Now, if you want to look at this from a momentum perspective, right? So momentum is the more near term, and I just want to quickly give you guys a quick heads up on what's going on from a momentum perspective, if you just give me a quick moment. So from a momentum perspective, while NVIDIA remains in a very choppy range, for example, we are finally at a point where now that we're past the earnings, we now finally have bearish momentum in NVIDIA, okay? And so momentum is a very powerful force in the markets. If you are a trader, you're probably largely concerned with momentum as opposed to trend, but the trend is ultimately, in the bigger picture, even more important. But we are, in our educational session, our strategy session this week, we're going to teach you how to find momentum in the market, whether it's bearish momentum in NVIDIA or bullish momentum that we have, for example, in ExxonMobil. And by the way, ExxonMobil has had bullish momentum since, let's go back, since, gosh, it's been a while. It's now turned into a bullish trend, right? But the momentum started all the way back in October. I'm sure all of you guys got calls from your brokers when that happened. I know none of you did. It's nothing against you guys, but it's just not how it works. But we actually did get a buy signal from a momentum perspective in ExxonMobil. It's up another 4% this morning. ExxonMobil is now up about 38, 39%, call it almost 40% since then. So if you want to learn more about momentum, make sure you join us this week. So this is going to be on Wednesday. at 11 Eastern, which is 8 a.m. Pacific. We will teach you about momentum, and we look forward to having you guys, having all you guys there to join us for that. But again, momentum is a very important concept. It's not just a concept, it's factually happening in the markets. And so it's important to know when momentum changes, right? Just like we have bullish momentum in ExxonMobil, we have a lot of bearish momentum in tech stocks, right? Which by the way, going full circle here, gets us back to what I just mentioned before, which is this big, huge divergence in performance here. That's this. So this is the year-to-date performance in sectors, right? The story is much bigger than this. It spans across different asset classes, commodities. We think commodities are going into a new commodity super cycle. We now have oil joining as well, and maybe natural gas. But you can see energy stocks are up 25% on the year, up another probably a couple percent this morning pre-market. I don't know where they're at right now on a sector basis. And technology stocks are down 3.6, and financials are down as well. So there's a massive divergence. And this is, as we keep saying, this is the great rotation. Most people miss this rotation and then ultimately have to chase. And that's when markets get more difficult and people start having a big problem. So that's why we're trying to educate everyone, giving you the right process, our process, I should say. Of course, we think that's the right process, right? That's our view. But giving you our process and tools you can use to be on the right side of the market, hopefully, as much as possible as well. We're going to continue this discussion here at 10 o'clock. If you're a Heat Seeker member, we are going to do a member session in about 45 minutes. If you are a Heat Seeker member, you have received an email on that. We're going to talk a bit more about this whole energy trade, because that's the Heat Seeker mock portfolio thematics. But this should have been a good review, a little bit of what we're going to talk about there as well. So otherwise, we'll see all of you guys back here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is Tuesday, and we'll see where we're at. Again, I think you should have a good idea of kind of where the trends are and where they're not. But I think the weekend news here is going to take a little bit of time to settle, and then we'll see how things play out. But I think that the great rotation is well underway. So thanks for being here. Again, if you want to learn more about momentum and how to find it in the markets, you can click on that link that Christian put into the chat box. It's thesteadytrader.com/event. Gets you to this week's strategy session. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Until then, be well and have a great day.